Welcome to the Chronicles, told by the Oracle. Cases of the missing, murdered, and unsolved. I'd like to thank everyone for watching today, and don't forget to visit thecertifiedoracle.com, where you'll find source information for today's episode. And don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button so you never miss a case. Let's get started with Chronicle number 10, the Deanna Jean Cremin case. The year was 1995. Microsoft would introduce Windows 95 and change the computer game. Alta Vista was the most popular search engine before Google came along. Kevin Eubanks, jazz guitarist, became the official band leader of the Tonight Show band with Jay Leno. Palm Pilots and pagers were the latest craze, and everyone had to have them. Magazine subscriptions were pretty big back then, and it was always exciting to open your mailbox and see what new one came that day. Teens would still flock to the malls to buy the latest single on compact disc, and then head over to the photo studio booth to snap a shot, to remember the moment. eBay was founded and people were bidding online like never before. Gangsta's Paradise, Waterfalls, and Creep were on radios everywhere, and Toy Story, Batman Forever, and Apollo 13 were dominating the box office. The first chickenpox vaccine was approved, and now kids would no longer be able to catch them and get a week off school that they all looked forward to back then. The 90s would bring so many things to light. One family only wanted to know who took the life of their 17-year-old daughter. Deanna Jean Cremin was born on March 26, 1978, to Catherine and Michael. It should be noted that Michael was her stepdad. Her biological father was named Alfred Rogers, and he was not involved in her life. Michael raised her, so I will be referring to him as her dad in this recording. She was born in Cambridge, Massachusetts. Deanna had two younger brothers, Mark and Albert. She also had a younger sister, Christine. They would all grow up in Somerville, Massachusetts, on Jacques Street, a low, middle-class neighborhood that has been described as gritty at the time. They would live in a subdivision called the White Hill neighborhood. In 1995, Sarah was 17 and a junior at Somerville High School. She was very popular and outgoing. Sarah loved the color purple and could eat at least 6 slices of Leon's pizza. She loved pizza, but she hated being short. She was only 5'2". Deanna was full of energy and life and had a smile that could light up any room she entered. She never knew that 3 days after she turned 17, it would all be taken away and a family would be destroyed because of it. On March 29, 1995, Deanna would get on a metro bus and run into her mom, Catherine, who was on her way to work. Deanna would not be on the bus very long, as she was going to her boyfriend Tommy's home, as she did every day. When it was her stop, she gave her mom a hug, and they both said, "I love you," and Deanna was on her way. Neither knew the fate that was in store for Deanna. When she got to Tommy's, she would usually do some homework, and then they would watch TV and hang out. Tommy was 19 and had recently graduated from Somerville High School. Deanna had a 10 p.m. curfew on school nights. She would call her mom and ask if she could stay late and finish a show they were watching. Her mom agreed and told her to come straight home when it was over. Deanna said okay and told her mom goodbye for the last time. When the show ended, the couple took off the short distance to Deanna's home. They would part ways at the halfway mark at the intersection of Heath and Bond Streets. This was out of character for Tommy to do, as their normal routine was for Tommy to walk her all the way home. Then the couple would sit out on the porch for a while, and then Tommy would go home. He would then call Deanna when he arrived, but on this night he would say he only walked her halfway before turning and heading back to his home, just a little over half a mile away. Catherine fell asleep on the couch waiting on her daughter. She woke up at midnight and saw she was still not home. At this point she did not think too much of it, as Deanna had fallen asleep and stayed at Tommy's before. However, when Catherine woke up the next morning, she had a bad feeling. She called Tommy's house, and when he answered, she told him to put Deanna on the phone. He said that she isn't here and she went home last night. This would cause panic to set in. Where was Deanna? Catherine had to go to work that morning, so Michael, her dad, would call the school and ask if she was there. When they told him no, his heart sunk. It was 8 a.m. when two girls were on their way to elementary school. They would take the shortcut they had taken every day before, but on this day they would see something that no child should ever see. The body of their babysitter lying dead on the cold ground. Deanna was found 1 block from her home behind the senior center complex, a mere 475 feet from where Tommy had parted ways with his girlfriend. The two young children ran to get an adult who alerted the police. They were on the scene within minutes. Deanna was lying towards the back next to a chain-link fence face up. The coroner would determine her cause of death was manual strangulation, and there were signs of sexual assault. Deanna was partially nude when found, with one leg in her jeans and one leg out of her jeans. The police would start an investigation. They canvassed the area, spoke to neighbors, and interviewed friends. Police would hold a conference and say there were no suspects in the case. However, the mayor at the time would say there were 3 persons of interest in the case. Person of interest number 1 was a local firefighter. His name was never released. An article in the Boston Globe said 1 week after the murder of Deanna, a member of the Somerville Fire Department was questioned in Deanna's murder. The firefighter comes from a family that is very influential in politics. In the article, it says some of Deanna's friends would tell her uncle that one of the firemen from the fire station on Broadway had taken an interest in Deanna. Every day, she and her friends would walk by the station on their way to go to school. The man has been questioned at least twice by police. It was also discovered that this man had gone to school with Deanna's mother, Catherine. He had been giving her driving lessons, according to friends. Mark, her younger brother, would tag along on one of these driving lessons, and he would claim he saw Deanna and the man kissing. If this happened, he was a real sick-minded individual and should be locked up for preying on children. However, he has not been charged in connection with Deanna's case and has been pretty much cleared by the police. Person of interest number 2 is a local town creeper, Antonio Didalto, a.k.a. Vinny No Shoes. Antonio was known in the White Hill neighborhood by the young teenage girls. He would drive them around to buy alcohol and cigarettes for them, and take them back to his apartment where he would have them take off their shoes and jump up and down, earning him the nickname Vinny No Shoes. Antonio was from Brazil, but people thought he looked and was Irish. He would rape a woman in 1995 and go to prison. Police asked anyone to come forward with information. They wanted to know if Deanna had any kind of contact with Antonio or if she even knew him. They would plead with the public that time was running out. They meant he was about to be released from prison and wanted to know if he should stay in there for being involved in Deanna's death. He was a known sex offender. However, there is not much more information on what police think about him today, and he was released in 2007. Person of interest number 3, Tommy LeBlanc, Deanna's boyfriend of 2 years. Tommy LeBlanc was Deanna's boyfriend. They had met at the Star Market where she was employed. It started as a friendship and then turned into a relationship. Catherine would say when Tommy was at her home, he was quiet and polite. Deanna's friends were not so fond of Deanna's choice. He was described as being aloof, quiet, and a stick in the mud. Deanna was the complete opposite of him. Catherine thought it was so odd Tommy did not walk Deanna up to the door as he always did. What was his reason? The police would ask him that. Tommy would tell the police he and his best friend were going to hang out, and they had ordered food and he didn't want to miss the delivery person. Tommy would produce a receipt for the food, and his best friend would tell police that is what happened. Catherine believes that Deanna was possibly going to break up with Tommy that night, or at the very least they had a fight. After Deanna's passing, Catherine would find letters he had written to his girlfriend. She would say it shows possessive behavior to the point of obsession. This would seemingly be confirmed when his best friend came to Catherine after the funeral and told her any time Deanna left the room, even if it was to go to the bathroom, Tommy would interrogate her, wanting to know where she was going and what she was doing. Tommy would attend Deanna's funeral, but would never attend any memorial services that were held. Catherine had gone to talk to him one time, and she said he seemed frightened, and when she told him they were close to solving it, he got scared. His own family noticed he was acting strangely after the murder. He was not overly emotional about it. It has been rumored that Tommy had scratches on his neck and cheeks that night. Tommy would get a lawyer and refuse to talk to police without his lawyer present. He would also refuse to take a polygraph test at the advice of his lawyer as to not incriminate himself. 2 months after Deanna's murder, Tommy's own mother would get a restraining order against him. She claimed he was dark and moody and violent at home. He would move out and in with his best friend before heading off out of town to live with an uncle. Tommy's mom would say the restraining order had nothing to do with Deanna's murder. She did not like some things that were going on in the home. She said Tommy had a bad temper, but he had never hurt her. Tommy had mood swings after Deanna's death. His mom wanted him to get help and thought a restraining order would help. Catherine has stated publicly that she believes Tommy had something to do with her daughter's death. She said she believes police think this as well. There is just not enough evidence for a trial. It has been rumored that at some point a grand jury was asked to convene. It is said that 2 key witnesses pled the fifth during this. The 2 were believed to be Tommy and his best friend. They did not want to incriminate themselves in Deanna's murder, so they pled the fifth. This is only rumored to have happened, and it has not been confirmed. It has also been said police have DNA in the case from nail scrapings. If this is true, have they not run it against the possible person of interest? If they have, they are staying very tight-lipped about it. Deanna's murder would take a toll on the family. Catherine would become an alcoholic and lose her job and home. She and Michael would divorce. She would then lose custody of her 2 sons. As Christine was 18 at the time, she stepped in and became a mom to her brothers. Their dad passed away in 2008 at the age of 58 years old. It is said he never got over the loss of Deanna, and it killed him. In 2017, the family would be hit with tragedy again when 40-year-old Christine would pass away. Although I cannot find a cause for her death, it is believed it was due to the stress of her sister's murder. Catherine would get her life back on track and make it her mission to bring her daughter's killer to justice. If you have any information on this case, please call 617-544-7167. Once again, if you have any information regarding the murder of Deanna Cremin, please call 617-544-7167. There is a $70,000 reward for information leading to the arrest of the killer. I want to thank everyone for watching, and don't forget, hit that like and subscribe button if you want more content like this. As always, this is the Chronikle, signing off.